Hello and welcome back to Dime to Diamonds. I am Suzanne Porske with Phoenix Financial Group. Thank you for joining us again today. If you haven't already hit the subscribe button, please do. When our podcasts drop, we would love to have you notified immediately. With me today, I'm joined by
Mark Farquhar with Phoenix Financial.
Rachelle Harp with Harp Accounting.
Our favorite. Yeah. Our favorite. Yes. It's so good to have you guys here. Well, we're always together, but we finally have Rachelle back with us.
That's right.
I know.
So nice to have brains with us, especially if we're talking about IRS stuff and taxes and CPA. Today we're talking about our blog, and we've got such great content, and a lot of time and energy is spent in putting these blogs together and getting them on the website for you. And we always have these really great conversations around the blogs, and that's why I thought, well, it'd be great to get them on a podcast. So you have the visual of us talking about it, the information, but you really get the nuts and bolts of it by going to our website, phx.financial, and actually reading the little short blogs that we put together.
Really good.
This was a shock to me when I started doing the homework on it and reading these scams. I mean, I know we're getting
$10 billion lost.
Right.
It's crazy.
Then, as I was saying earlier, before we went on the air, I'm shocked, but I'm not shocked that, like, if you file your taxes early, not only do you make your CPA happy, your tax person.
Very happy.
I know. I need to do mine
Reduces
early.
the chances of being scammed.
Right.
Yeah.
If you get on it first.
Yep. Yeah, you know, your identity doesn't get stolen. Sometimes what happens is a fraudulent tax return gets filed using your information. Therefore, when you file your actual tax return, you get a notification from the IRS that says, nope, unfortunately, you're not allowed to file. You've already filed. And then at that point, you get to go and talk to the IRS, give them a call.
Well, at least they pick up on the first ring, and they're super friendly, right?
They are. You know,
And then we wake up, and we're like,
joke.
no, we're still on here. It's 2 hours later.
Yeah, they have great music, right?
It's turned into a comedian session here.
No,
Great music. There we go.
They have done a better job with their systems on people calling in and actually getting a response. I know that was a big issue a few years ago, but it can be mitigated by being organized, having your information, and not being a procrastinator.
Right.
One of the great things, and sometimes people aren't aware of this, is that just because you file your taxes and you owe an amount does not mean you have to pay that day. You have to pay by April 15th or you're going to get penalties and interest no matter what. But if you file early and you owe, you can schedule that date, or you can write a check and have it ready to mail by April 15th. So it's not that you have to pay it that day. So there's not that excuse for not going ahead and filing. So
That's a good idea, because I think people think, I do my taxes and I'm going to have to write a check. When in actuality, all you're doing is preparing yourself for whatever, you know.
Correct.
I can't even tell you what year it was I got money back, but that was a goal of mine early on, is to make sure that I organized my finances well enough that I wasn't using them as a forced savings account.
Correct.
But all that saying, this is my bus seat. So that, to me, you know, don't talk to me about, you know, changing my oil in my car at the right time and all that good stuff. I have a wonderful husband who does that, but you know what I mean? Other things that are maintenance, I do wait for, you know, I have different philosophies with that. But yeah, I'm just surprised at the number of people that get their tax ID numbers stolen, used. And like you said, not to go get credit, but to file tax returns. And we had a client that happened. His Social Security stopped coming to him because they said he earned too much money. And he said, I literally haven't worked for 3 years, but somebody took his tax ID number and worked for a company in Florida. He had never even been to Florida, nor knew this company. When they called that company, they blocked his number. But it was quite the ordeal. And they said, yeah, you filed taxes on that number. And so, yeah, it was stolen. And had he, I don't know, been checking on it sooner.
Yeah, I think we've been getting a lot of stuff lately, like people we know and clients, emails with phishing for information, phone calls, messages through Facebook. The biggest thing about the IRS is they only communicate through mail as their main way of communicating.
100%. They will never call you. They will never email
Right.
you. They will not text you. I can assure
Email you.
you they
They'll
will
never
not be
email you.
using Facebook,
Yeah.
Instagram, or Twitter to try to collect money from you. They also are not in the habit of threatening you. Their letters might be stern and have some specific wording, but they're not going to say, we're coming to take your house if you don't give us your information.
Right.
They will never do that. They will also not call you and request payment.
Because
So
people
never
do that.
try
They
to
call
do
and
that.
scare people, and then people freak out and try to,
So unless you get a piece of paper in the mail,
What about
it's
an
not the
email
IRS.
with a link in it that says you owe money, click this link for your taxes?
Not legit. That is a scam. So it's very important to understand that it will be a mailed paper copy that comes to you
Right.
if you actually
and then
owe
their
money.
websites, I mean, their website's pretty good. You can get on there, check your account.
Correct.
And
you can
find
check
everything there you
both
need to know.
things.
Yeah.
You can check the amounts that you owe, so you can
Right.
you actually have your own tax
Portal.
and
Yes.
you can see the amount you owe, as well as if you're due a refund and you think you should have got a refund, or you don't think you should have got a refund and you got a nice check in your
Right,
sent
yeah.
to you. You don't want to go and just cash it right then if you weren't expecting it. If you were expecting it, that's different. But if it's something you're like, I don't think I should have got this, you can go out there and check that and make sure that it is a legit refund. So there are a lot of opportunities of don't just immediately react, but take the time to go and research and make sure that it is accurate.
Right. What if somebody asks you to cash a check for them from the IRS?
Do not do that. Do not cash a check for anybody that asks you to cash a check.
Don't go
No,
to
I
gift
had somebody
cards for
that did
people.
that. She came in and said, so they took money out of my account. And we did a little bit of homework and research and called, and they said, well, you cashed a check. And she goes, no, that wasn't my check. And they go, well, they signed it over to you and you cashed it and it came back fraudulent. So we're taking the money back from you. And I said, who did you do that for? And yeah, it was a new friend.
And I assume she gave them the cash.
Oh, yeah.
So she was out of the cash. And
Right.
Yeah. So, I mean, you would almost think it's common practice not to do that, but you shouldn't do that if someone asks. Even if someone doesn't have a checking account, there are lots of banks that have the ability to cash checks. So if someone comes to you with that story and says, I can't get this cashed, I really need the money, there are other avenues for them where they could get it cashed. And,
Right.
maybe that's where you say, hey, well, maybe you should call such and such bank and talk with them.
Right.
And on the email side, I see a lot of PayPal. This is your PayPal. Have you seen those PayPal invoice? Just those Yahoo, just those weird emails that come through. I was getting them from a bank saying, you're overdrawn or something. But the thing is, I've learned that the email's not the main. You want to go to your website and log into your account and all that kind of stuff, because the emails, they're kind of scary.
Well, I got some that said that I was, they were there to help me pay on back taxes. And my heart dropped. I was like, oh my gosh. So I didn't respond to the voicemail. I went and signed into my IRS account, and they have that tax ID me or whatever.
Yep.
And so a double authentication, cannot stress that enough.
Right.
And got on there and nothing. And I dug deep because I thought, well, maybe it's something that was it was an overseas somewhere.
Yeah.
But
and
no.
then simple stuff like your computer virus scanner saying you owe $20 or $120, pay here, and it's anyway. This is so technology's just allowed so much additional ways of scamming people. So
And it's sad.
yeah, you think it'd make it easy, harder to do, but anyway, it's opened up so many other avenues for stuff to happen.
And there's that disconnect for the individuals. Like, they're able to reach out and scam people, and they're able to hit hundreds of thousands with a push of a button. So
Right.
it's easy and quick work for them.
Right.
But yeah, unless you're expecting an invoice or you're expecting something from your bank,
Right.
I would never click on a link. It's always best practice to go and sign in and see if you actually have a
Right.
balance due or
And then-
different things like that. And you
Right.
have to watch some of the individuals who may actually have back taxes. There are places that'll call up and say, hey, we can help you reduce your tax liability. You owe them, $100,000. We can get that just erased. Not saying that they're all a scam, but a lot of them will ask for money up front, and then they don't get you anywhere. So you need to be very careful
Right.
with
Are
that.
there local people that can help you with that kind of stuff? Or?
There are local people. The IRS has programs that you can go through directly through the IRS to help with getting some of that maybe forgiven, or just seeing if you can reach a payment plan and different things like that. And I've talked with a few of the agents, and they say that they usually come to the same deal that the person that they, somebody paid a company $5,000, paid them the $5,000, and still have the same deal that they would have got if they had come and worked directly with the IRS.
Right.
So it's one of those, you're paying somebody maybe to help you with that process if they're legit. But some of those people.
And I know with the IRS, I have to tell you, when I fled my abusive marriage and then found out, that's when, I fled June 2nd, 2013. June 14th, 2013, I was served paperwork that the IRS, everything was frozen because I was a victim of identity theft. Everything. And then it was taken. So then I got a letter saying that I owed them $68,000 in back taxes. That was clicking at a very large rate every day, the interest, because he had earned money in my name, but never filed the taxes for it. And I didn't have, they left me with 10 cents. That's all they left me in my bank account. They took everything else out. Dime to diamonds.
Right.
Where it comes from, little plug. Anyways, I say all that to say, I called the IRS. I had nothing but time on my hands. I had no home, no job. My license were all suspended, revoked, everything. So I was like, all right, I'm going to call. And I called and I got a lady and I wrote the notes and I talked to her, and it took a long time and a lot of conversations. But I'm saying this because I just told somebody this the other day, who was also a victim of her husband not doing their taxes. They're since divorced. She's gone on and got a better life going for her, but she said, I'm having to go and deal with what he did. There's injured spousal
relief.
Wow.
And so you do have affidavits you sign, and there is some steps you take. But all that to say that as much as I make fun of how hard it is to get a hold of IRS, they are nice to work with. They are a government agency, so it's not like calling here or showing up at our office. Right. But they do work with you. They do listen, and they worked with me for a good 2 solid years and really helped me out tremendously. And they've done that for other clients as well, where I'm like, hey, they need your help. He hasn't worked in 3 years. No, it was longer than that. He hadn't worked in Florida. And they just said, okay, this isn't uncommon, unfortunately, and really did some background and got the local police involved, because you have to file affidavits.
Well, and I think that's the big piece, is to try to communicate to people who might be in situations where they do need to go ahead and reach out, is to realize that it's not such a scary, and they're not the big bad just out to get them. They have a job to do, and that's what they're there to do. Mm-hmm. But I also have that analogy of, burying your head in the sand. It doesn't solve the situation. It just makes it where you don't see it anymore. And so, a lot of it with IRS is going ahead and addressing problems as soon as you're aware of them, because then you start working towards the solution. And the sooner we get to a solution, the less penalties, less interest, less all the other things that come in that make it so overwhelming. So
completely agree. And I mean, we touch on a lot of this in this blog, and it's using all of the resources that we have, like contacting the IRS, working with a tax professional, monitoring your credit. I'm telling you, even on mine, I have where it notifies me every time, which helps me, because if I can't find my husband, like, well, he was at the gas station at 3:30. No, but at least, it's just, it notifies you, because him and I were coming back from Kansas and from a work meeting, and he got gas, and then I got 2 charges. Right after that was like another, like he got $27 of gas to kind of top things off. And then the next one came in at $175. And I was like, was there anybody else there, was behind you that grabbed the nozzle? Like, how did that happen? So I immediately called the bank and told them, no, this is what I have, the receipt. This is all we bought in gasoline. And it just, go ahead.
Didn't you have a client? I've had a couple with the Facebook stuff, the messages, they're thinking that they're their friends, and they're not, and they're scamming them that way.
Yeah, so I had
that's a big deal going on right now too.
From one of my friends. She's she's my LBA friend. I wasn't
Right.
like my friend. Made friends with her, and we just have a great. I don't know. I just have a very respectful relationship. It'd be like if either one of you called. I was got a message on Facebook. It said, "What's your phone number?" And I thought, well, that's weird.
Yeah.
But she has the Facebook with her and her husband. So it's both of their names on there, and I've never met her husband. And so I thought, well, and it said, I need your help. And I thought, okay. So I gave her my phone number, and then I got like a FaceTime call. Or maybe it came through a messenger, a FaceTime call, and was her husband's picture. I didn't realize it was a
that was
picture at the
crazy.
time.
Right.
It was just him, and he said, I'm sorry, I have a bad service. And it kind of like got like black came back, and then he said, I'll just text you. And he texted and said, hey, I need a really big favor really fast. I am locked out of our Facebook. We're out of town and I need help. They're going to email you a code. Can you provide that code to me? Hurry. You got to do this right away. And I'm like, oh my gosh. So luckily my daughter was there and she goes, what are you doing? I said, Jason and Kristen, my friend.
Yeah.
I said, something's happened and they need my help. And she goes, don't you talk to Kristen? She knows your number. Yeah. And I go, oh yeah, that's right. I'm just going to call her. So I called and she's like, no, we were hacked.
Wow. Yeah.
And somebody's portraying themselves as my husband and it's going like wildfire. Yeah. So had I given them the code, and luckily the day before I had changed my password on my Facebook, so I got that same email and they'd send you a code to put in to then change your password. So had I provided that to the person that was like, hurry, that I thought was hacked. Jason, I'd have been hacked and lost everything, which is also business accounts and everything else we have. So yes, there is some hot scams out there.
Well, and that's always one of the red flags is if someone is pushing you, hurry, deadlines,
or they can call
like you have to do it now, or those types of things, to take a step and say, is this something normal or different than how that person would normally act? Because in the moment, they're trying to rush you, and that anxiety and the adrenaline's going.
Well,
up,
I was thinking if that would have happened, right, when I was busy and doing something else, and my daughter or whatever, I would have been like, okay, Kristen, what else? Or Jason, because we're good, caring, kind people.
And I think we need to talk to our elderly or our senior citizens because they're the ones that want to get that done. I need to get that taken care of right now. I'm going to get my checkbook out. Yeah. Whatever they're going to do. So it's really important to talk to your parents or your elderly people because they sometimes go ahead and do that stuff instead of, finding out what's going on.
Years ago, my parents were in another city, was about an hour and a half away, and I called to talk to my dad about something, and my mom said, no, he's at Radio Shack getting some gift cards. And I said, oh, for who? Man. And she said, well, our computer's been hacked, and they are going to come to the door. FedEx is coming to the door to pick up them, and then as soon as we give the gift cards, they'll release the computer to us. And I was like, what are you saying? And she said, never mind. Dad's not here. He'll call you later. And I go, no. What are you doing? And she said, listen, we clicked on something and they locked us out of our computer. And the only way to get it free is if we provide them gift cards. And I was like, absolutely, excuse the language, hell no.
Right.
No. I will get in my car and I will drive out to Grove. You are not handing somebody that has a FedEx shirt on or a sticker that says it, and then they're going to free your computer up. No. So I said, you have Dad call me and you lock the door and don't answer it because that's unacceptable.
Right.
Like, no. But just heard a couple weeks ago, the same thing. An elderly person was buying gift cards in Target for who knows what, but the scams are out there for those people. And I even had my husband ask me, I think it was my husband one day, he said, hey, I got a text that we get free groceries for life. Or maybe I got it and I was teasing him. Like, oh, I just click here and I get free groceries for life, even though I don't know how to spell groceries. I was like, how many people get those and don't realize it, and they click on it.
Well, and that's the one thing, like when you're looking through emails and you're in a rush, so you're always ready to click and go through, but checking the email address that it came from, checking, the spelling of certain things. But how often are we in a rush and we just click through things?
Yeah.
Right.
Like it's amazing. It's scary because being fast is also the same as they target the elderly who are very kind and wanting to help and do that. But taking the moment to confirm those, key things. Does the email address look right? When you hover over the link, what address is being shown before you even click on it?
Right.
And then the other piece is it can always be clicked on tomorrow.
And go to the originator. Like if you got something from Best Buy, then go to Best Buy, even if you have to call them. And I got stuff from the chamber here, Broken Arrow Chamber, and I clicked on the link because it said that I had an overdue note. I had something that was overdue and it wasn't paid, and I was like, what? I wonder how that was an oversight. Like, okay. So I clicked to see what it was that they're saying I didn't pay. And it took me to Canva or something. And I got out of there right away. And then I emailed Broken Arrow Chamber, the people there, and said, I just got this. I got an email saying this. I did a screenshot because I didn't want to keep it going in the web. And then the next email was, somebody is scamming. They hacked and scammed. And I'm like,
the best thing is just to call or contact.
Go to the source.
Go to the source. Yep.
We had somebody a few years ago that he was away at college, and he had a night of celebrating and kept his phone off. Well, it was an inside job, but they contacted his grandma and said that he was in jail. Yeah. He had one call that she needed to send money, but she was smart enough. She said, no, I'm going to call his parents, my kids, and find out if my grandson. And they said, we got the same call and we're trying to find out he's in another state and we can't get a hold of him. His phone's going straight to voicemail, which it would, I guess, if you were incarcerated.
But you do only get one phone call, right?
Right. Long story short, they stalled it enough and knew that if he was incarcerated, they're a pretty tough family, so he could spend his time thinking about his decision. Yeah. Wasn't life and death. The other is that they could find somebody around that state, in that area, city, to go check. Right. And they prolonged it long enough that he turned his phone on and had all these missed calls from grandma, mom, dad, brothers, sisters.
All of his phone stuff, numbers in there,
it's
didn't
funny
they?
You say stoned. A stone book. Yeah. Because there was some partying. So he started calling, and he's like, what is going on? And they're like, oh, my gosh, you put in jail. He goes, no, I am hungover. But somebody knew his current situation and was taking advantage of it, and Grandma had the bank, everything all lined up to send that money to the college student that would get the other, her grandson out of jail that he wasn't in.
Yeah.
So go to the source. Yep. And like you said, take a deep breath.
Correct.
They're not waiting to breathe on you.
Let them sit there for 24 hours.
I agree with that, but that's a tough love situation, right?
You just sit there and think about it. Why make sure this is legitimate?
Exactly.
So, and so there's scams out there everywhere, and that's where we encourage you, come in if you're close by and you're a client or come by and see us. Let us talk. Let us another set of eyes get on it, or talk to one of your family members or a friend and say, does this look legitimate? I mean, I remember the first Publishers Clearinghouse that my mom got when she was at work that we won. And so I was so excited.
Won more than one?
Oh, yeah.
That's impressive.
So ran to the neighbor, and she's like, Susie, honey, I wish.
What's that guy's name?
But no. And so I was like, what do you mean? It says right here, I'm a winner. I scratched this thing off, and I am a winner. Like, winner, chicken dinner.
That's that guy that came around to give you the money. You see that report? He never showed up to anybody's house. You remember the guy?
Are you kidding me?
Staged?
Yeah, they had a story on it yesterday online.
They had AI before that?
What was the guy's name? You know who I'm talking about?
Come on, somebody out there, and you know the name. Publishers
Clearinghouse guy, the older guy that.
That was my first scam.
America. Yeah.
Well, first scam I fell for.
Well,
he said he never showed
the
up to
first
nobody's
Mac
house.
scam, right?
Yeah,
like
that's
that
him.
was.
He's the main guy.
He started it all.
You know how many?
Apparently.
You know how many magazine subscriptions I got before I even wanted, because I was going to be entered into the drawing. That was before lottery. Anyways, yeah. So their scams have been as long as the day.
Yeah, exactly.
As long as the sun is,
And they're always looking for new ways to be smarter, to be more adept, and to fool people. And so it's one of those trust that gut feeling. If you have that second thought, trust it and be like,
Right.
maybe I'll check back in 15 minutes or 30 minutes when I've, gone and did something else and can come
Or like
look at
Suzanne
it.
said, put another pair of eyes on it and check it out. So.
And there's digital footprints. Today I was talking to a guy he's an advisor, I think in Michigan, and he said, no, I don't want to do the internet, and I don't want to be I don't want a website, and I don't want this. I go, so how did you find me? He said, well, LinkedIn. I trust LinkedIn. And I said, okay, but he said, I don't understand what's wrong with these people these days. They don't trust when I call them. I go, you have no footprint anywhere. How do they know who you
it's
are?
true. They're getting online right
I
away.
would think his LinkedIn was fake. Because that is one of the first things you go through is you're like,
Go
okay,
look
there's
at
a
their
Facebook,
website.
there's a
Google reviews,
Google's, all of
Facebook,
those.
talk to people.
Yeah.
Well, and see if they have friends that you're connected to, so
Right.
then you can be like, hey, do you know so-and-so? Yeah.
Right. And so,
all
and
the
I know even that
connections.
elderly people have Facebook. I watch them.
Mm-hmm.
Got scary sometimes, but, they have it.
Careful,
So
she's watching us.
Yeah, well, I think the kids would tell us that we're all old because Facebook is old. Like they're on their
that's true.
Snapchats and Twitters now.
I know. I asked
And
them
we're
the
not
other day,
even
should
sure
I do
that I'm
Twitter?
up
And
to
they're
date
like,
on
oh God, no. Stay off Twitter. I was like, well, he's a TikTok person, so I'm kind of on the TikTok board. And I guess if you
try.
had it and got rid of it, you can't get it yet. Because I had it because of you, and I
you
never
can't
got
get
rid of it.
You can't get it if you've never had it yet. Is that right?
Michaela said that she had it,
Right.
and when it was banned for 24 hours, she got rid of the app and got rid of her account.
Oh,
Now
really?
she went to go get one,
I just
and
kept
you
mine.
can't.
It works fine.
Yeah, same here. I'm not real active.
I couldn't imagine them getting rid of that.
Twitter. I mean, TikTok.
TikTok, yeah. I figured they'd find a way to, which they did, but
I was gonna say,
so many people make money
my
off
understanding
that.
was you just had to relocate your location to another country, and then you were able to get to it, like on your phone, because it's based off of where your
yeah.
location. So
Oh,
they
so
said,
you said
I'm now
you-
in Canada, and then you
Suzanne-
could get access to it because it wasn't banned in Canada, only in
God,
the
you're
US.
so smart.
We're out of
Didn't even
China
know
now.
that.
Yeah.
I mean, there's always workarounds.
I would love to say I'm in Sweden or like,
I want to actually be there.
New Zealand. Yeah.
She'll probably be there in about 2 weeks now.
Yeah, she's thinking about it.
It'll
I'm
be-
like, wait.
I'll be on there going, oh, yep, she said it.
No, I got to go back to Destin, Florida first.
Yeah, that is a nice
Oof,
thing.
that was a nice trip. Even when there's snow. I mean, we literally were walking
It looked
on the
nice
snow
there when
and
you
the
were there.
sand.
There's
It
still
was-
She
some
was
snow on
happy.
there. There's still snow around.
Yeah.
Okay. This picture she had, it looked like it was pretty.
There's a lot of it was
Pretty warm.
melted, but
Yeah.
yes, there was that more shaded
But
areas.
that was weird, wasn't it? Seeing snow around
It was
there.
weird, but it's still the same birds and
Mm-hmm.
the same crashing of the ocean. And
The
Yeah,
noise
can't
and
beat
the
it.
ambiance and the smells. It smells different. It's just relaxing.
very relaxing. It's hard to be stressed out I don't know
Yeah, you
anybody
can't.
that's stressed out at the beach.
No.
I'm sorry. I've not been around them, and I don't want to be around them. But no, it's nice. Even if you got a parka on, I had a parka and a hoodie with fur on it. I was like, still parking my fanny in the sand because it was very relaxing. So,
Yeah, good deal.
all right. Well, again, thank you guys so much. I love our time together, and thank you for joining us for another Dime to Diamonds. Again, go back to phx.financial in the blogs. That's where you're going to find all kinds of great information. Right. We barely touch on this, the subjects that we kind of hit us at home.
Right.
And personal, but there's a lot more. There's the scamming snapshot of 2023, 2024. So more information there. So thanks again. Hit subscribe. Make sure to tell your friends. We would love to increase our viewership.
Yours, right.
Yeah. So again, I'm Suzanne Porske with Phoenix Financial Group, and you've been listening to or watching Dime to Diamonds.
I'm Mark Farquhar.
And Rachelle Harp with Harp Accounting.
Have a good day.
Have a great day. Bye.